Coming up next here from New Orleans, UNLV will take on Indiana in the second game of our national semifinals. The winner will take on Syracuse, victorious over Providence, 77-63 in game one here today at the Superdome. As we come back inside, I'm joined now by the coaches who were in last year's finals, Denny Crum of Louisville and Mike Krzyzewski of Duke. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me. What did you think of the first half, Coach Crum?
Well, I felt Syracuse was way too strong inside. I think their rebounding, they just dominated the play inside. And if you played in a dome before, you know that the outside shooting is usually a little bit difficult, and that's what Providence had lived by. And I didn't feel that they'd have a good shooting percentage here.
You attribute that to the depth perception?
Because everything's so far away behind the basket, just different. Syracuse, of course, plays in the dome, so they're used to it.
Mike, who matches up better now for Syracuse between UNLV and Indiana? Which team do you think would favor a matchup for Syracuse?
Well, that's why I'm wearing an Indiana button. I want Indiana to be in there no matter what the matchup is. I think Syracuse will give trouble to both teams because of their inside strength, like Denny had said. I thought a key kid in that ball game, I don't know what you guys mentioned, but Trish had 3 big offensive rebounds in the game, and it seemed that, especially that three-point play, when it was going to look like Providence was going to come through, that was, I think, the big play of the game.
And he rolled back on his side and hit the free throw to complete the three-point play. What is Sunday like after winning on Saturday, and you have 2 days until the national championship final?
I think the first thing, like Denny and I, you guys dragged us out of our locker rooms, and you had to do all that TV stuff, and I think to get them rested. Rested is the main thing.
Well, one of the things that you can't hardly wait for that day to get over. You know it's coming, you know it, you got to wait and practice and all that, but you can't wait for it to get over.
Denny, everyone knows you were critical of the NCAA selection committee. Your team was left out of this tournament. You've had a couple of weeks to think about that. Now, what are your reflections on it at this point?
Well, I really didn't mean it to be critical of the selection committee. Just the process that allows the committee to use so much subjective judgment in terms of picking the teams. The rules say that they're supposed to pick the 35 best at large after automatic selections, and that was not done, and I think that the process needs to be changed.
Have you changed your mind now about next year's schedule, or changed your philosophy with the tough schedule you had this year and it didn't work out?
No, it's my hope that that tough schedule will help us next year like it did 2 years ago before we won the championship last year. That tough schedule really helped us.
All right. I'm going to have you two look at some of the one fights that took place in the game here between Syracuse and Providence. This was one brief altercation. And after this, Providence went on a 9-0 tear. No technicals were called. This is just, there you see a punch flying and landing in there.
Well, I tell you, those kind of things can happen because, you know, it's a tension-packed game and it means so much, but it's a shame that they do, but that's just the nature of athletics. I was surprised there were no technicals called or no one removed from the game, but I guess they felt Final Four, let's just call it even, and it wasn't, you know, something that just happened, I guess.
Mike, quickly, what is Bobby Knight thinking? You know him so well. You played for him. You were a coach for him. What's he thinking right now?
I think the main thing, he's wondering if his offense is going to be good enough to attack Las Vegas' defense. I think he's more concerned about his offense than his defense. I think he has a great defensive plan.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us here at the Superdome. Right now, let's take you to James Brown, who is standing by with Providence coach Rick Pitino. James?
Okay, Jim, thank you very much. Coach Rick Pitino, your team 36% from the field the entire game. The three-point shot wasn't there. What do you think the problem was with the outside shooting?
Well, I think Syracuse played outstanding defense. We tried to go inside. They have good shot blockers. They just outplayed us tonight. It's a tribute to their defense, and we had an off-shooting night. It's a combination of both, but normally when you have off-shooting nights, you credit the defense.
I talked to some of your players before the game and asked them if, in fact, they thought depth perception might be a problem. Some people also bring up the fact that you had a week off and maybe the team missed the rhythm a little bit. As a coach, what do you think about those two possibilities?
Well, it's obviously any time you play in a football stadium, it is a tough background to shoot in. But no, we were on top of our game. We've played exceptional basketball going. Syracuse had a week off as well, so we have no excuses. They just played outstanding basketball. They're a credit to the Big East. And I'm really proud of our kids. They tried, they just couldn't get the press on because their field goal percentage was so low.
Emotionally, it seemed as if the fight did spark you guys, but not quite enough.
No, we just couldn't shoot a high enough percentage to do anything with it. But they kept stopping our rallies, and they're a credit. They really played outstanding basketball.
You individually have had a strong season. Will we see you at Providence next year?
Where else am I going?
Coach Rick Pitino, outstanding year. Congratulations. All right, Jim, back to you.
All right, James, the floor right now filled with players from Indiana and UNLV. They're warming up for the second game, and we'll return to the Superdome after this message from your local station.